Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive Live. We are live right after WWE Survivor Series on pay-per-view. Survivor Series emanating from Miami, Florida tonight, and a few big newsworthy items coming off the pay-per-view. We're going to discuss those and also take your phone calls with your comments on the pay-per-view. The number to call into tonight is 347-996-5278. Again, that's 347-996-5278. We also have our chat room open at pwrshow.com and also our live chat here on Blog Talk Radio. I want to make sure all of you, before anything else, go ahead and the show as a favorite so that you never miss out on an episode of the Pro Wrestling Report here on Blog Talk Radio or on our home station of 540 ESPN. I am joined on the line here by David Octavius, the Tiberius Hero. David Hero tonight.
Wait. It's the Hall of Famer, the HOFer.
Oh, I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, well, you were too busy on the OBT last week. That's the problem.
WWE Survivor Series tonight, David Hero. John Cena is, quote-unquote, fired from WWE as Wade Barrett does not become the new WWE champion. Randy Orton with the RKO on Wade Barrett. Randy Orton retaining the championship with a little bit of help from John Cena.
Brutal, baby. I mean, this was so hard to watch. I mean, I was surprised I survived the series. Seriously. I mean, no one cared that John Cena made the final 3 count. I mean, he does it 1, 2, the long pause on the 3. You can tell nobody cared because I didn't see any close-ups of kids crying in the audience or women crying in the audience. I mean,
you're exactly right.
They made a big mistake.
Overall, tonight's crowd in Miami didn't really give or get anything to get excited about. And I want to make one point. As we talk about this pay-per-view, it's WWE's responsibility to make us want to buy the pay-per-view. It's the wrestlers and the workers' responsibility to go in and put on good work. And I think in general tonight, in just about every match, we saw some pretty good wrestling matches. But the atmosphere was not there for this to have been one of WWE's big 4 pay-per-views of the year, and ultimately, at the end of the day, to have nothing happen on it. It was just a very weird Survivor Series, and I don't think WWE did a very good job of giving us characters that we cared enough about to care anything at all about this pay-per-view.
Well, you know, Damien, if you think about it, Miami got screwed. I mean, they got a subpar pay-per-view. The 2 hometown stars of MVP and Layla both did jobs, clean finishes. I mean, they didn't give anybody anything to be happy about. You know, I mean,
right.
you had the screw job finish in the World Heavyweight Title match with Kane and Edge, so there was a no-win there. I mean, sure, Rey Mysterio and Big Show won, but the fans, they are behind Alberto Del Rio. How many more of these elimination matches is Rey Mysterio going to win?
Yeah, that's a good point. And we'll get back to the main event as we talk about that with some of our phone callers, I'm sure. But going down the card, David Hero, you mentioned that the World Heavyweight Championship stays around the waist of Kane. This match actually ending in a not disqualification, not count out, not submission, not pinfall, but a tie. I can't remember the last time we've seen a wrestling matchup end in a tie. Regardless, Kane is still the champion, and David Hero, I don't think the Miami fans or even us watching on pay-per-view had any reason to care about either men in this contest, especially since there was no sight of Paul Bearer.
Well, the last time there was a tie, I guess you could say, was Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy, but they gave them 2 or 3 or 4 extra times to get a winner. I mean, where was Teddy Long? Why wasn't he doing his little strut down to the ring to say, hey, 5 more minutes, I want a winner here? I mean, it's obvious that they had to do it that way to set up a rematch at next month's TLC pay-per-view.
TLC with the stick figures. Well, all right.
Are you at a rock concert or something? What's going on over there?
No, I'm here at our viewing facility for the pay-per-view. They're getting set up for a little bit of after activity, so we'll continue talking. After activity. Tag Team Championships were on the line. Nexus able to retain the titles against Vladimir Kozlov and Santino Morello. Santino, by and far, David Hero, the most popular guy in the building tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't love a Santino right now? I mean, He's over with the crowd. He's the kind of guy that can get beat every single night and come back stronger. But, I mean, did anyone really think Santino and Vladimir Kozlov were going to beat the Nexus? You know, I just don't get it. You know, just poor booking all the way around.
More matchups. There was the Divas Championship on the line, and we saw Natalya finally on this her last chance get the opportunity and succeed in that opportunity in becoming the new Divas Champion, beating Lay Cool, both Michelle McCool and Layla, clean in the ring. And just after that matchup, David Hero, as we saw Lay Cool attacking the new champion Natalya, a big return as the Glamazon comes back to WWE.
You know, it's good to see that a Hart family member finally wins at the Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, this is, besides Melina, this is the first time in quite a while that a true wrestler, wrestling diva, wrestling knockout, you know, actually is the Divas Champion. I mean, it's not the bikini models right now. It's someone like a Natalie Neidhart that has paid her dues, that's worked the indies, that's traveled the world to perfect her craft. And it's refreshing to see finally a wrestler as the Divas Champion.
There was a traditional Survivor Series matchup as Team Del Rio took on Team Mysterio. Team Del Rio comprised of Jack Swagger, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and Tyler Rex. Team Mysterio comprised of The Big Show, Chris Masters, Kofi Kingston, and as you alluded to earlier, the Miami native MVP. We saw Team Mysterio win this matchup. Earlier on, though, Del Rio walks out of the match, what seemingly like he was going to return later on, but that did not happen as Big Show and Ray are the final survivors in that matchup and winning for Team Mysterio.
See, and I can just see now on SmackDown that Alberto Del Rio said he never lost, and that he would have won that match if Big Show wouldn't have quote-unquote cheated by punching him in the face. But
he didn't lose.
No, he didn't lose. I mean,
speaking of punching in the face, Cody Rhodes avoided disaster tonight.
Oh no, he lost. He was cleanly pinned.
Now even you got to admit, David Hero, that was a little entertaining.
No, not at all. It was disturbing.
Wow.
I mean,
all right.
No, really, think about it. They put Cody Rhodes on TV every week for his grooming tips. And what did he get out of this tonight? Did he beat anybody?
Nope.
Nobody. See? So what good is it to keep having him go out there with his grooming tips if he can't win?
Yeah. We're going to be referencing your comments on our Twitter account.
Just ignore the whole fact, huh? I see how it is.
Our Twitter username is PWR Show, and we've got a couple of comments right now in summary about the pay-per-view. Beach Burn Bob is the username, saying, this was the best pay-per-view of the year. Every match was amazing, except the storyline went nowhere when it was all settled in the ring tonight.
What is Bob burning on the beach is what I want to know. Are you serious?
He's serious, apparently. Ty 1822 saying the main event sucked. David Hero needs to be the real booker for WWE. You went 3-0 tonight, it looks like, David Hero, with your Be the Booker picks.
Well, you know what?
2-1.
I'm 2-1.
And that,
not bad.
You could have gone 1-1 since it was a tie.
Yeah, but who left as the champion? Kane.
All right, there we go.
Hey, you know what? There was a tie last week or last month with the double countout match.
That's true. Username Bout That Paper says, decent show, but uncreative and predictable ending. And finally, Chosen Boy saying, wow, they sure know how to make the fans happy. I couldn't have thought of a better ending to Survivor Series. Sarcasm. Comments are flowing in on our Twitter account. Again, our Twitter username is PWR Show. We also have a chat room going here on Blog Talk Radio, and the reviews of that, not so good as well, David Hero. Super Chundy saying this pay-per-view was garbage. Anthony Chumbly saying bad ending, good show. So the reviews are in, and not so good so far on this pay-per-view. The Intercontinental Championship was on the line as Caval took on Dolph Ziggler. I had high hopes for this matchup, and it was a good match. Well done by both. Good effort put forth in the ring by both men. The crowd remained dead during this matchup. Nobody really to care about. Dolph Ziggler retains the Intercontinental Championship.
You know what the problem is, Damien, with this entire pay-per-view, is that these guys wrestled. They weren't working. They didn't work the crowd. They didn't work each other. They didn't work the ref. They didn't work anything. All they did is they went out there, and it was all programmed wrestling matches. All they did was wrestle. They gave us nothing to cheer for. The only bright spot for me on the pay-per-view was how Jack Swagger is now able to incorporate his ankle lock from so many different scenarios. I thought him and Big Show worked really well together. I thought he did some great stuff with Rey Mysterio, but overall, none of these guys worked. They just wrestled matches, and that's not what the people want to see.
Even though they say they do.
No, they don't want to see it.
John Morrison.
They want to be entertained. You know what? For as good as Dolph Ziggler and Caval can be, what is the one thing you remember out of that match?
Vicky Guerrero.
Okay, and she was really not in the match.
Right. No, you're exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Sheamus versus John Morrison. John Morrison, I'm not sure, David Hero, and you talked about it during the matchup, how well matched these two are. But what was very surprising, I think, was to see John Morrison win that matchup and defeat Sheamus 1-2-3 in the center of the ring.
Yeah, they could have, gotten some more, another pay-per-view or two out of this. I mean, they could have finally had Sheamus avenging himself for all the times John Morrison has interfered. And then you just make the story where John Morrison slowly gets over on the big bad bully in Sheamus. But instead, the first match they have together, Morrison wins. It just defeats the purpose of any storyline.
Ted DiBiase Jr. had his sights set on the United States Championship, currently held by Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan shines again in this matchup, as did Ted DiBiase. Another good match. Out of nowhere, we see the LeBell lock, and Ted DiBiase taps out David Hero, and Daniel Bryan retaining the United States Championship.
DiBiase, I feel bad for the kid. He's not getting over. He almost needs to turn into the Brooklyn Brawler. Be broke, lose all your money, lose the girl, start from the bottom, and get the fans behind you, because wrestling fans love a good sympathy story. It was brutal. DiBiase,
and he can't win a match.
Listen, they gave him one of the hottest chicks on the planet in Maurice.
Yep.
They gave him the $1 million belt, and it doesn't help. I mean, you could dump a gallon of gasoline on him and throw a match, and he still won't get any fire. It's just brutal. I mean, I feel bad for the kid. I mean, I can't imagine being the $1 million man's son and not even get any heat at all from the fans.
Yeah. Bad situation to be in for him, for sure. After that matchup, though, David Hero, The Miz came out and said it's not a matter of if he's going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. It's a matter of when. And actually, A-Rod back on WWE TV after his unfortunate situation earlier this week.
Well, you know what? I had our legal team call down there and say, I apologize on your behalf for getting A. Riley all hammered last week.
He had never had Rumblemans before. It was his first time.
And training wheels for the guy, okay? I mean, people can't compete with you, Damien. You should
he
know
only
that
had
right
one.
now.
He only had one.
Oh, my God.
The Miz,
you almost got the poor guy fired.
The Miz, though, not cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase, that's still hanging out there. David Hero, that's the pay-per-view, the WWE Survivor Series. At the end of the day, two things happened on this show. And that was the new Divas Champion in Natalya and John Cena, quote-unquote, being fired from WWE. This, one of WWE's alleged biggest pay-per-views of the year, delivered a whole bunch of nothing tonight. And keep in mind, though, it's not an insignificant story that John Cena is, quote-unquote, fired from the WWE. I think the build for that was good. I think that getting there was good, but I don't know if the result actually makes any sense. And I wonder also if it's just too dang on cliched.
They had a chance to make a ton of money turning John Cena heel and aligning himself with Wade Barrett. They could have done huge business. But for some reason, they think that they're smarter than everybody else, and now John Cena is going to be fired. When we all know John Cena is going to come back, who knows? They might put a mask on John Cena and bring him back, much like
Mr.
they
America?
did with, like with Mr. America, like the Midnight Rider, like the Yellow Dog.
Conquistador number 92?
Yeah, exactly. But just bad business.
A couple of comments still coming in.
And what does it do for Nexus? The leader of Nexus can't win the big match.
Yeah.
So now why should Nexus follow him?
Well, I think that probably goes back to that whole Tonga thing.
Is that Justin Bieber in the background?
I wouldn't know. He's Artist of the Year, apparently, David Hero.
Really?
A couple of more comments on our Twitter feed. That's what I'm reading here. A couple more comments on our Twitter feed. Again, our username is PWR. Blanchard is saying, where does WWE go from here? Honestly, I'm not sure. Might be saying Survivor Series was a fail. An okay undercard ruined by two poor main events. Cena being fired was the low point of the evening. Bart 901, the pay-per-view sucked. KO_Scuba. A Cena heel turn could have made this at least somewhat of a memorable pay-per-view, but all looking just LLB. You couldn't drop in the night. He was didn't affect any advantage. And
hey, Damien?
Series. Yeah.
Hey, Amico. I'm having a hard time hearing you there.
Oh, sorry about that. So, the views are in and not you would be right for a couple of phone calls before we and where you're calling from, and we want to know what you thought of WWE's last year. Was it a passing show, or was the show a fail?
This is Justin Carr from San Antonio. How are you doing tonight?
Tremendous. How are you, Jeff?
Doing all right. I'm not doing too good after seeing that pay-per-view. Yeah, it's kind of we're having the technical difficulties there, Damien. But basically, tonight's pay-per-view, I'm very, very upset with the ending. They could have went so many different routes with that pay-per-view, with the storyline, I should say. The ending was just very, very bad. We already know that, John Cena is going to have probably like a 2-month hiatus. He's probably going to come back at the Royal Rumble or something like that. Or, or so they come back as like a Mr. America or something like that. But it's no longer the Big Four with the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. It's just now the Big Three. It's just sad to see how they treated, the second longest running WWE pay-per-view and just comes down to this. And I think it's a very sad thing to see.
620 area code caller from the 620 area code. Try to take you live here, and you are live now. Caller in the 620. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Derek. How y'all doing tonight?
Tremendous, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing all right until I watched the pay-per-view tonight. I had high hopes that they would actually make this a legit storyline at the end. I'm sick and tired of seeing Super Cena everywhere. I mean, we've had Super Cena for over, 8 years now. Come on, let's finally do something different. Let's make Randy Orton the top dog.
Well, but he's fired, so there's no more Super Cena.
He's going to come back in like 2 months anyways.
Overall, your thoughts on the pay-per-view, was it a passing or failing grade?
Failing. Horribly failing.
All right. Thank you very much for that call. We haven't heard from many people who liked any bit of it. All right. Let's move right along. Again, we're going to identify you by your area code and then take you on air from there. So let's go to our next caller.
Yes, I can. How are you doing, Damien?
Tremendous. How are you, sir?
I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm going to have to go against a lot of the internet wrestling community, and I actually really like Survivor Series personally.
Okay. How so?
I personally thought a lot of the matches were really, really good. They actually gave us some solid wrestling matches, which you really don't see much from WWE on a pay-per-view basis. The only things I would have liked to have changed was at the end of Morrison and Sheamus. I would have loved to have seen Sheamus maybe attack him afterwards, maybe build it a little bit more, but they can probably just do something on Raw with that. But again, overall, I just really liked everything. Even the double finish with Kane and Edge, I can live with that, especially going forward into the next pay-per-view. So, yeah, just overall, everything, again, really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I definitely have to give it a pass.
Thank you very much for that call. We are going to be live again on Wednesday night on our normal station, 540 ESPN out of Milwaukee. And remember, that show does stream live at pwrshow.com and at espnmilwaukee.com. And if you have Talk Radio, and also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter username is PWR Show. John Cena fired from WWE. And Natalya is the new Divas Champion. That pretty much sums up the result of 2010's WWE Survivor Series.